This is America in Space, a weekly news and information program on current events dealing with the space industry.
Welcome, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor. In October of 2022, JAXA experts from Japan and NASA astronauts and engineers lived and operated out of a pressurized prototype lunar rover for 3-day stints in the northern Arizona desert. The mission was meant to gather data about the rover's design, cabin configuration, driving modes, timeline constraints, and mission operations to support potential design concept for the future pressurized lunar rovers. The rover will function as a mini base for astronauts to live in while away from the permanent lunar base camp that NASA has planned to build. The design requires that astronauts can live and work comfortably inside the rover for an extended period of time while periodically exiting the vehicle to collect samples and conduct experiments. The rover needs to have self-sufficient energy sources relying on solar batteries to recharge an onboard battery and must have a lifespan of 10 years. NASA says pressurized rovers are like recreational vehicles, safely housing astronauts for weeks at a time, complete with all the air, water, food, hygiene equipment, and tools they need on their trek across the lunar surface. The team created different scenarios to put the rover's power supply through its paces to see which scenario puts the hardest design constraint on the vehicle and then design around that, said Jim Free, Associate Administrator for Exploration Systems Development at NASA. Prototype design featured a windowed front van-like vehicle with 6 independently operating wheels that allow the vehicle to sidestep rocks like a moonwalking crab or spin in tight circles. Pilot operates the rover with a joystick. Vehicle also has the ability to drive on its own to keep up with astronauts who have exited the rover to run experiments. In addition to testing the rover prototype, NASA has announced the companies chosen to develop the new lunar lander for the Artemis program. Here are NASA astronaut Randy Bresnik and Lisa Watson-Morgan, the program manager of NASA's Human Landing System, to give us details on the lunar lander program.
Apollo led the way to the moon, and we, the Artemis generation, are going there to stay. Those of us in blue flight suits, the start of the Artemis generation of astronauts, could not be more excited about contributing to our nation's goal of putting the first woman and the next man on the lunar surface by 2024.
We, NASA, have been partnering with U.S. industry in order to achieve the best of what each organizations bring. So without further ado, the companies are SpaceX. The SpaceX design is a single-stage solution using their Starship. The SpaceX proposal included in-space propellant transfer demonstration and uncrewed test landing. The second company is Dynetics, and Dynetics has many partners that they will be working with. It also has a very unique low-slung crew module, putting the crew very close to the lunar surface for transfer and access. Dynetics will perform a demonstration flight to verify key capabilities for its lander system. And the third team is the national team, with Blue Origin as the prime. The team's design is a 3-stage architecture consisting of an ascent, descent, and transfer elements. With this diverse set of architectures, NASA is confident in our nation's ability to perform the Artemis missions.
The landing on the moon in 2024 will be the most dangerous and complex flying task attempted by humans in more than 50 years. And it's only been done 6 times ever. That's why we're so excited about how to learn how to fly these landers so we can make that smooth touchdown on the lunar surface and do what we came for, lunar surface exploration.
The companies will spend the next 10 months developing their systems and testing them in the northern Arizona desert. The pressurized lunar rover is planned for the 2030 Artemis 7 mission. Thank you for joining me. Remember each Tuesday to join David Denault for America's Return to Space And join me every Friday for America in Space. From the Florida Space Coast, I'm Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor for About Space Today.
On Friday, December the 23rd, I invite you to join Dawn Meyer, Space Coast News Editor, for a Christmas special. I'm David Denault, and this is a family story to share of a Christmas long ago. So don't miss A Message from the Moon on Christmas Eve and My Christmas Telescope with Dawn Meyer, Friday, December the 23rd. And Merry Christmas!
Thanks for listening. Be sure to share our program with your family and friends and follow us on Facebook. Join us each week for news and information on America in Space.